Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Garima Jain from Rajasthan Technical University. Today we are going to talk on module History and Environment of HRM, Challenges of HRM, HRM Environment and Strategic HRM from the paper Human Resource Management. After completing these modules, the students will be able to know the history of HRM, to have an idea about the challenges of human resource management, understand the environment of human resource management, have a basic idea of what is strategic human resource management. For any organization to function effectively, it must have resources of man, human resource, money, materials, and machinery. The resources by themselves cannot fulfill the objectives of an organization. They need to be collected, coordinated, and utilized through the human resources. Hence, human resource management, that is HRM, has emerged as a major function in the organizations. Now we shall study as to what is the history of HRM. The history of HRM starts to be interesting with the evolution of the large factories in the 18th century, the rapid development of the new industrial approach to work changed the work dramatically. The quick and cheap production became a priority for many industries. The factories hired thousands of workers who worked up to 16 hours a day. Soon, many entrepreneurs discovered that satisfied employees are more effective and can produce more than depressed employees. Many factories started to introduce voluntary programs for employees to increase their comfort and satisfaction. On the other hand, the government started to intervene to introduce some basic human rights and the work safety legislation. The second rapid development of human resources started in the beginning of the 20th century. Most organizations introduced the personal management. The personal department had large responsibilities. It was dealing with issues, introducing the new law requirements. It had the responsibility for the implementation of different social and workplace safety programs. Everything was focused on the productivity of employees. The regular productivity increments were the key measure for the management of employees. The significant change was introduced after the Second World War because the military developed many training programs for new soldiers. After the war, the training became a respected process in personnel department. During this period, the trade unions evolved. The trade unions changed the rules of the game. The employer got a strong partner to discuss with. Trade unions introduced many improvements at no significant cost for the employer. Today, the trade unions are not as strong as they were used to be, but many organizations still benefit or suffer from a strong presence of trade unions in their factories. The real HR revolution began in the 70s of the 20th century. The technology and the globalization have changed the rules of game. Most HR functions are running complex HRIS, that is Human Resource Information System solutions, which make information about employees available anywhere and anytime to managers and HR professionals. The economy of the wealthy Western countries shifted towards the services economy. The quality of services became the crucial competitive advantage. HR became necessary because the structure of the workforce changed. The leadership development was the right answer. Managers and leaders have to think global today. They have to understand to different cultural backgrounds. The corporate culture cannot be country specific. It has to reflect many nations working for the organization. This is a fantastic opportunity for human resources. Human resource management is global today. The global HR policies drive processes in different countries, but the processes produce comparable results. the employees relocate from country to country. The future of human resource is very bright. The globalization cannot be stopped because nations collaborate. The organizations become less country specific and they cannot identify themselves in one country. New technologies will bring other evolution to offices. The commute work is standard today, but it will become a norm. The technology will connect employees as they would sit in the next cubicle. iPads will allow quick and instant access to information about employees, and managers will be able to make all the decisions and approvals online. However, the future of human resources will be about new networking methods and how to make employees know each other. What are the challenges of HRM? There are various challenges like globalization, workforce, diversity, technological advances, changes in political and legal environment, changes in economic environment, and training and development. In the previous slide, we have seen the various challenges that HR managers are facing. HR professionals can't afford to ignore these challenges. Rather, they design and execute innovative ways of developing skills and competencies of human resources to prepare them to accept the emerging challenges. Now, first of all, we will study the first challenge, that is the globalization. Globalization is the process of internationalization of markets, politics, and legal systems called global economy at a political and economy level. It means that world trade and financial markets are becoming more integrated. Workforce diversity. Workforce diversity include age, ethnicity, ancestry, gender, physical abilities, qualities, race, sexual orientation, educational background, geographic location, income, marital status, military experience, religious beliefs, parental status, and work experience. The future success of any organization relies on the ability to manage a diverse body of talent that can bring innovative ideas, perspectives, and views to their work. The challenge and problems faced of workforce diversity can be turned into a strategic organizational asset if an organization is able to take advantage of these diverse talents. If the organizational environment does not support diversities, organizations have risk of losing talent to its competitors. This is especially true for multinational companies who have operations on a global scale and employ people of different countries, ethics, and cultural backgrounds. Thus, a HR manager needs to employ a think global, act local approach in most circumstances. Technological advances. It is a challenging task of adapting rapid technological changes which influence the nature of work. Advanced technology has tended to reduce the number of jobs that require little skill and to increase the number of jobs that require considerable skill. New technology creates unemployment which leads to shortage of skilled manpower. Thus, technological change brings difficulties and challenges in organization. Now we'll study the next challenge, that is political and legal environment. Many changes in political and legal environment lead to creating new laws and organizations needs to follow all these laws while doing business. It is the responsibility of human resource manager to anticipate the changes and prepare organization to face them without any breakdown in its normal functioning. Now the next challenge, that is changes in the economic environment. Changes in economic environment impact a number of factors on production like scarcity of raw materials and other inputs including power and electricity, encouragement of the culture of consumerism, increasing consumer awareness, demand for quality products, increasing trend of inflation, decrease in the purchasing power of rupee. With these aspiring effects, HR manager has to deal with ever increasing aspirations of workers for higher wages and other material benefits and mounting costs on the employee welfare and other benefits. In an inflationary economy, the resources tend to become scarce and the costs of man, machine, and materials multiply. Now, the last challenge, that is training and development. With the advent of new products and technologies, organizations require employees who are more skilled and knowledgeable. Many companies are meeting this challenge by providing e learning opportunities and on the job training that allow employees to receive the training they need without the expenses associated with travel, on site trainers, and hours away from their jobs. These are only a few of the many challenges an HR department must be prepared to deal with. Knowing in advance what type of situation might arise will help you to be better equipped in the event that it does. Now we will study about the HRM environment. An HRM environment comprises of many elements which are both inside and outside the organization. A HRM manager balances with the needs of the organization and the realities of the internal and external environments. Some environment factors which have significant implications on HRM environment are the decreasing trend of availability of middle managers, unemployment, educations, and skill gap, the adoption of advanced technology, lifestyle adjustments for dual career couples, and the influx of immigrants. Now we shall study about the internal environment. These are the internal forces or factors which have influence on the HR activities of the organization. First is the unions, then the organization culture, conflict, professional bodies, and organizational climate. As we have seen in the previous slide, the various factors of the internal environment. Now we'll study them one by one. The first of them is the unions. A trade union is an association of workers or management formed to protect their own individual interests. HR activities like recruitment, selection, training, compensation, industrial relations, and separations are carried out in consultation with trade union leaders. Unions play important role when a new wage agreement needs to be signed. Now we shall study the next factor, that is organizational culture and conflict. Each organization has its own culture that differentiates one organization from another. Organization culture reflects the past and shapes the future. There is often conflict between organization culture and employees' attitude. Conflict usually surfaces because of dualities such as personal goal versus organizational goal, discipline versus autonomy, rights versus duties, self confidence versus arrogance. Organization culture is the product of all organization features, its people, its past, its successes, and its failures. Few core values or beliefs shape its culture. Thus, culture is sharing of some core values or beliefs by the members of the organization. For example, value for time is the culture of Reliance Industries Limited. The culture of Tata conglomerate is to get the best people and set them free. IBM is known for its service and L&T is known for its professionalism. Professional bodies. The NIPM, National Institute of Personnel Management, as the HR professional body, regulates the functions of HR practitioners in India. Regular training programs, seminars, conferences, workshops are being held by the NIPM for the benefit of HR people. The NIPM has also laid down a code of ethics, and the HR professionals are expected to declare their allegiance to the code. The code is beneficial as it reminds HR people about their ethical obligations towards the employees, organization, professor, and society. Organizational climate. Organizational climate refers to the prevailing atmosphere that exists in an organization and its impact on employees. Organizations can be friendly or unfriendly, open or secretive, rigid or flexible, innovative or stagnant. HR managers play a key role in helping line managers throughout the organization to establish and maintain a positive organizational climate. The major factors influencing the climate are leadership and communication style. It is reflected in the level of employee motivation, job satisfaction, performance, and productivity, and thus has a direct impact on organizational profits. Now we'll take an example of IBM to understand the organizational climate. Shift from anarchy to flexibility at IBM. The bureaucratic climate at IBM, characterized by centralized decision making, hierarchy of command, job security, and a strict promote from within policy, has been identified as a key factor in the firm's difficulties in maintaining a competitive position on both domestic and foreign fronts in the early 1990s. Now we shall study about the external environment. The external environment of HRM consists of the government regulations, economic conditions, labor market, technological advancement, and diversity. As we have seen in the previous slide, the various external environment factors. These are the forces external to the organization and have influence on HR functions. First of all, we will study the government regulations. Introduction of a new workplace compliance standards has come HR department to be under constant pressure to stay within the law. These regulations influence every process of the HR department, including hiring, training, compensation, and termination. Violations of such regulations can lead to extensive fine or to the closure of the company. The economic conditions. One of the external influences is the shape of the economy. It may affect the talent pool or it might affect the ability to hire anyone at all. The best way to prepare against adverse economic conditions is to know what's happening in the world around you and subsequently create a plan for when there is an economic recession. Now we shall study about the labor market. It is the geographic area from where a firm recruits employees. The labor market is often different for various employee groups within an organization. While clerical and technical employees are generally hired locally, senior managers and highly specialized employees are hired often nationally or even internationally. Now we shall study about diversity. Workforce of any factory comprises of people from different nations. People belonging to different cultures, races, religions, gender work together in an organization. HR managers must learn to live with these diverse behaviors. Diversity, if managed in a proper way, can increase creativity and innovation in the firms. Technological advancements. When new technologies are introduced, the HR department start downsizing the workforce. To save money, a job that used to take 2 to 4 people could be cut to one done by a single person. Technology is revolutionizing the way we do business and not just from a consumer standpoint, but from an internal cost savings way. Technological advancement is considered an external influence to the organization. In the next few slides, we shall study about the strategic management. So first of all, we should know what is strategy. Strategy is a unified, comprehensive and integrated plan that relates the strategic advantages of the firm to the challenges of the environment. It is designed to ensure that the basic objectives of the enterprise are achieved through proper execution by the organization. Now we shall study about what is strategic management. According to Burgos, strategic management is the means by which management in an organization establishes purpose and pursues that purpose through the co-alignment of organizational resources with environmental opportunities and constraints. The concept of strategic management. Strategic management is the process of formulating, implementing, and evaluating business strategies to achieve organizational objectives. The study of strategic management, therefore, lays importance on monitoring and evaluating environmental opportunities and threats in the light of an organization's strengths and weaknesses. Till now, we have studied about strategy and strategic management. Now, one should know about what is strategic HRM or strategic human resource management. Strategic human resource management refers to the process of developing practices, programs, and policies that help achieve organizational objectives. These practices, programs, and policies need to be aligned with organizational strategies. Analyzing the opportunities and threats existing in the external environment. Formulate the strategies that will match the organization's strengths and weaknesses with environmental threats and opportunities. In other words, one has to make a SWOT analysis of the organization. Next comes implementing the strategies so formulated. Last is evaluating and controlling activities to ensure that organizational objectives are fulfilled. Now, one should know the difference between traditional HRM and SHRM, that is, strategic HRM. The first point of distinction comes under the focus, in that the traditional HR says the employee relations are important, and strategic HR says that partnerships with internal and external customers are important. Next point is the role of HR. In traditional HR, the transactional change follower and respondent, and in strategic HR, the change is transformational, leader, and initiator. Third is initiatives, in that the traditional HR is slow, reactive, and fragmented, and strategic HR is fast, proactive, and integrated. Now comes the point of time horizon. The traditional HR is short term, whereas the strategic HR focuses on short, medium, and long as required. Controlling. In traditional HR, there are bureaucratic roles, policies, and procedures. In strategic HR, there is organic, flexible, whatever is necessary to succeed. The job designing. In traditional HR, there is tight division of labor, independence, and specialization. In strategic HR, it is broad, flexible, cross-training teams are required. The point of distinction is now the key investments, accountability, responsibility for HR. In the first, that is traditional HR, we can see the capital, products, cost center, and staff specialists. Whereas in strategic HR, there are people, knowledge, investment center, and line managers. So students, let's now summarize what we have learnt in this module. Human resource management has changed in name various types throughout the history. The name change was mainly due to the change in social and economic activities throughout history. HR is a product of the human relations movement function. It was initially dominated by transactional work, such as of the early 20th century, when researchers began documenting ways of creating business value through the strategic management of the workforce. The payroll and benefits administration, but due to globalization, company consolidation, technological advancement, and further research, HR as of 2015 focuses on strategic initiatives like mergers and acquisitions, talent management, succession planning, industrial and labor relations, and diversity and inclusion. HR practices becoming more and more challenging day by day. They face problems like retention and attraction of employee, dealing with different cultural people, managing workforce diversity, technological and informational changes. To overcome with these challenges, training, that is cross cultural training and technological and informational training, is necessary for the HR people. Organizations try to use human resource effectively. They face several managerial challenges. They deal with these challenges effectively outperform those that do not. An HR program functions in a complex environment comprising of several elements both inside and outside the firm. In order to have an effective HR program, the managers must give careful attention to all the aspects of the environment. Strategic HRM, it refers to the process of developing practices, programs, policies that help achieve organizational objectives. That is essential in that these practices, programs, and policies need to be aligned with organizational strategies, and it is quite different from the traditional HRM as we have studied in our module. Okay, thank you.